Welcome all to another special edition of RGN, where we reveal the results of the 2022 C64 Gamers' Choice Award. This is the 5th running of the award, and this year it is once again determined by a closed voting panel made up of proactive supporters of the current day C64 gaming scene, who have played a good portion of new games released over the past 12 months. Thank you so much to everyone who accepted my invitation to be on the voting panel. The list of nominated titles include games that have received a general release from 16 December 2021 through to 18 December 2022. Each panel member was asked to select 5 of their favourite games from a list of 20 games nominated by RGN, with a bonus point awarded to their most favourite game. Where games receive the same amount of points, then they are ranked based on the number of times they were voted as the favourite. And if they're still tied after that, then it's RGN's discretion. Here's a quick look at the nominated games that finished outside of the top 10. And now for the top 10. Sneaking into 10th place is Retaliate DX. Retaliate DX is a multi-level shooter, high-score chaser with a unique concept. Unlike other classic shooters where you have an unlimited amount of ammunition, Retaliate DX changes things up by giving you no bullets at the start, and you have to use your energy shield to collect bullets from alien enemies so that you can retaliate. This style of game won't appease everyone, but what's on offer here is good without it being spectacular. Polar Bear in Space stands out due to its obvious influence from games such as Whizball and Drop Zone. It's a very well produced title. The graphics look polished and the action moves about flawlessly. The game sound effects are quite good, particularly in the cavern sections. Hardened players will absolutely love the challenge imposed by the game, while the rest of us will require a degree of perseverance to repeat certain sections over and over again until we work out the best way to move forward. It can get a little frustrating at times, but when you get the move just right, then the sense of accomplishment is somewhat great. Just recently released, Muddy Racers was able to make enough of an impression to finish in 8th spot. There is so much to appreciate about Muddy Racers that is not immediately visible. The controls are good, and you certainly notice when upgrades are applied to your car. The CPU racers have their own personality traits, and while the bumpy mechanics require a little time to get used to, they are a critical component to winning on some tracks. The inclusion of 18 different tracks, a championship mode, and the ability to play against 3 other human opponents ensures that Muddy Races is fun whether you're playing solo or with friends. Our 7th place getter is certainly a divisive title, as gamers either love or hate Mega Styles' adaptation of the Atari 2600 version of The Empire Strikes Back. The actual conversion itself is of high quality, with its great looking graphics, including different daytime settings being a highlight. Despite some tweaks being added to the gameplay compared to the original title, the game remains very much of a grinding experience, which is not for everyone. Some bemoan the sheer repetitiveness of the play on offer, while the rest of us find the challenge somewhat addictive. And let's not forget, it's Star Wars, right? Another recent release that makes it into the top 10 is Icon 64's Terrestrial. In some respect, Terrestrial can be viewed as the greatest hits of 8-bit gaming, with its mini-games paying tribute to classics such as Beachhead, Cabal and Raid Over Moscow. With a good deal of variety within its collection of mini-games, Terrestrial contains something for everyone. Visually, the game excels. Graphics are vibrant, detailed, and everything moves about quite well, and the introduction cutscene is of the quality we can now expect from the Icon 64 team. The game offers a generous amount of lives at its easiest difficulty setting, making the game quite accessible to everyone, as you should be able to experience many of its mini-games upon your first couple of plays. Monty Boyd hits it out of the park with his first stab at providing an arcade-style platform game for the Commodore 64 that is not only so easy to pick up and play, but will have you hooked and returning to it for multiple playing sessions. In what can be described as a hybrid between Pang and Bubble Bubble, Knights and Slimes sees you take control of one of 8 knights, and your job is to go around the screens, splitting slimes and other enemy creatures until they perish. The overall production values are wonderful, and the game provides a highly authentic arcade-style gaming experience for our humble little 8-bit machine. This is a game to be enjoyed by all C64 enthusiasts. Coming into 4th place is the visually and sonically brilliant Robot Jet Action. The use of the C64's extended colour mode has been applied to great effect, making Robot Jet Action look closer to a console game from the 90s. In fact, my daughter commented that its graphics look quite decent, nowhere near as bad as the other games I play. Bah, what do teenagers know? The gameplay itself doesn't quite hit the same heights, as every level and game world is played in a similar way. Despite this limited sense of play progression, the gaming experience is good in a workman type of way. It is no thrills, but still quite satisfying once you understand how to use the jetpack thrusters effectively. This is a very good game. In 3rd place is my personal favourite game for 2022, Likia: The Lost Island. I found Likia a compelling game to play with its Nintendo-esque style graphics, gradual pacing and charming characters. Likia allows you to immerse yourself in the game's wonderful world and storytelling as you take control of Nora as she tries to work out why the world around her has all of a sudden become out of order. You'll spend most part of the game exploring the expansive game world and looking for an object or person and solving puzzles. With each successful quest, the mystery behind the game slowly opens up to you. You don't fully appreciate how clever the story arc is until you complete the game. It was my pleasure to play Likia: The Lost Island. Released before Christmas 2021, Mr. Sid delighted the community by bringing Sonic to the C64. With the aid of a RAM expansion unit, this adaptation of the Sega Master System version of Sonic the Hedgehog is technically impressive and highly gratifying to anyone who grew up playing the Sonic franchise in the 1990s. Sonic the Hedgehog on the C64 is a very faithful conversion, and the game moves about at a very good speed. The one thing I appreciate about this conversion was that the graphics do look like a C64 game with its muted colour palette. Everything is so well drawn and animated. The graphics for Sonic were handled by Oliver Lindau, who also happened to do a lot of the graphical work for this year's C64 Gamers' Choice Award winner. As one of the voting panellists said to me, there can only be one game this year to rule them all, and that game is Eye of Beholder. It was a long wait, but Andreas Larsson and team can be very proud with what they have achieved with the C64 adaptation. The production values from the graphical perspective are superb. This game simply looks beautiful. Exploring the dungeons of Waterdeep is quite engrossing, with the game engine doing a good job in making sure things move about at a decent pace. And I enjoyed the way that the game gradually opens up its game world as you solve the various puzzle elements within the game. The inclusion of the auto map feature, bestiary and mouse control support are all very much appreciated and ensure that the Eye of the Beholder on the C64 is the very best it can be. If you have fond memories of playing Eye of the Beholder back in the 1990s on an Amiga or PC machine, then you'll absolutely love the C64 conversion. Congratulations to Andreas Larsson and co. for taking out the 2022 C64 Gamers' Choice Award with Eye of the Beholder.